Good evening. So welcome home. It's a different group than last week, I think. You are not sitting on the same spot. Who wasn't here last Friday? So most of you. All right. Well, anyway, last Friday was about the past, so it's past, and now we're going to talk about the present. So this is the present. So in case you don't know me, my name is Eric. I'm one of the volunteers here at the meditation center, and we like to be enjoying this space. We like the idea that this space is really maintained and created with the idea that when we come here, we're exposing our mind to new ideas, being stimulated. Meditation is all about thinking. Some people think meditation is all about not thinking, right? But Raj Yoga meditation, the type of meditation we practice, is about activating the mind in such a way that the mind creates amazing thoughts. And whatever solution will solve the biggest problem of our lives is going to be a solution that will start with a thought. Either that thought comes from somebody else or from my own mind, or I read it or I hear it. It just becomes a thought, and then it becomes a reality. So the feeling I'm motivated by for my whole life now, it's about this is a real mine of not even gold or diamond, but this is the most precious mine in the world, which is sometimes not used enough. And sometimes that mine creates a lot of smoke and a lot of noise and wrong diamonds, whatever. Diamond should come out of the mine, but instead of that, just pebbles and problems and troubles come out. So that's when we need to fix the mine a little bit, and that's what we call meditation. So meditation is really when we change our mind, we change the way we think, and we feel that if we use different thoughts, then we feel differently, and then we become somebody a little bit different, and maybe negative traits of our character can be removed if we change the way we think. Does that make sense? Yeah? So that's a little bit the premises of this place and why we love this idea of having a meditation center. And I've been in those centers for so many years, but I feel that whenever I'm in a group environment, I'm benefiting from extra energy, which I don't get alone in my living room most of the time. So we're a little bit addicted to meditation centers, like we are to living rooms and dining rooms, to do different things. And this thought about mastering time or master of time is a thought that comes from the feeling that our relationship with time is extremely precious. And I'm sure you've had that experience many times in your life, running out of time, missing time, wasting time, waiting for something. And so our time is really a commodity. It's an energy. It's a reality. And it is part of what manages our lives, isn't it? We're running out of time. We're getting old. Aging is about time. So the connection we entertain with time is extremely important. And the concept of master of time is not going to be sharing about managing your agenda or your emails or your phone calls, because that could be a form of workshop that all of us usually need to take again and again. But it's more about the spiritual dimension of time. And I find that I'll just share with you one experience, and it was many years ago, not so long ago, but a few years ago, when I was listening to myself, feeling how much I was being stressed sometimes because of not having enough time to do everything I have to do. And I was going to a class by a great yogi, and so I wanted to be, taking maximum benefits. So I sat right in front. There was a big crowd, and I was waiting for the big yogi to come and give us this enlightening moment that I was hoping to get. And I was right in front. And then somebody came and said, "Oh, we're so sorry, but that great yogi is not feeling well. So she cannot come right now. She may come later on, but not right now. But instead, I will give you a little workshop with a PowerPoint." And I hate PowerPoints. I don't do well with PowerPoints. So I thought, oh, what do I do? And this is a good friend of mine. I don't want to hear her class. I don't want to be in front of a PowerPoint, but I'm sitting right here. I can't just suddenly stand up and leave. It will not be very, very polite. So I thought, well, I'm just going to endure PowerPoint. And that very close friend of mine just started to fill in. She had to give a class at the last second. So she just pulled out a PowerPoint because that was already made, and it's something she knew. And she started to give talk. And for a few minutes, I was kind of a little bit judgmental, thinking, yeah, I know. And then after a few minutes, I thought, oh, this is actually quite interesting what she's talking about. And then I realized, yeah, that I don't know, I think. I think she knows better than I do about that. And she went on to power and effect of thoughts, which we talk about a lot in meditation. But she suddenly made a distinction between what we feel sometimes to be a bad thought or a bad word or something that we do which is wrong. And she was saying that if you think about bad things happen. But she says sometimes it's not about bad, it's about what you don't like. And she was saying if you think about something you don't like, most likely it's going to happen more and more. And I said, wait a minute, what are we talking about here? And I realized that one thing that I used to say a lot is that I don't like it when I don't have time. I don't like this because I don't have time. I don't like this because I'm squeezed, I have too many things. And I just realized how, even though I teach about meditation and positive thinking, I still had to learn about that particular aspect, that just this dislike invokes a situation. And then I saw myself at work answering what I used to answer every time when people would ask me, Eric, do you have a minute? And my role at work for a few years was to kind of coordinate a team at work. So they will often, people will come to the office and say, oh, I have a problem, do you have a minute? And because sometimes I felt that the joke I had with another director was, we can be squeezed in an office for so long sometimes, you don't have time to go to the washroom. And it's like meeting after meeting after meeting. And you have to really say one time, excuse me, I really have to go out of this room to do something else for a few minutes, if you don't mind. That busy we consider it to be. And so I realized that this was the expression I used to use all the time. Do you have a minute? And I would say, well, I have 30 seconds. And that was my polite way of saying to someone, I don't have a minute, hurry up because I don't have time. Which is a nice way to say, okay, I don't, but quick. And then I usually say, I have 30 seconds, I have half a minute, with a smile. It was very, very polite. And the person will come, and then another one will come, and that. And I realized this is not the right thought, because it entertains the same thing. I don't like it. I don't have time. And so I created that thought. On that day, I thought, why don't I change my thought? That was the workshop on the PowerPoint. Change your thought. Something I've been hearing for about 30 years. And I thought, what about this one? What can I change? And so I changed that thought, and I said, what about if I create the thought, I have all the time in the world? Which is a big lie. But I thought, why not? Because if the technicality is you have a thought, and then it becomes a reality, well, let's see if it works. And so I created the thought, I have all the time in the world. So next day in the office, it happened again. Eric, do you have a minute? I said, yeah, I have all the time in the world. I said, what? No, you don't. I said, yeah, I have all the time in the world. Sit, we can talk as long as you want. I don't mind. And I thought, he must be really under something is wrong or it doesn't work. And then I started telling myself all the time about everything. I have all the time in the world. And I realized how many times in a day before that, I used to stress a little bit by thinking, oh, I have this, oh, I have this email, oh, I have this to do, oh, I didn't answer this email, oh, I have to cook, oh, I have to do the laundry. But always with the feeling, I don't have time. And it was very toxic thinking, actually, although it was true. But the more I was repeating it, the more it was becoming more and more true. So when I started changing the thought by saying, I have all the time in the world, in the beginning, it felt like lying all the time and being totally in kind of disharmony with the reality. But very quickly, because it was new, I started enjoying that thought and playing with it. And what really happened, to be really honest, is that it changed completely the dynamic. People would come in the office, and it would not take like half an hour, and they would never take more time, actually. They would be same amount than before or even less. But I started to feel my mind to be totally, how to call it, relaxed or spreading out, as if my mind was not tense anymore. And I started to really enjoy that very strange mantra, and everybody would ask me something, I have all the time in the world. What about tomorrow? Yeah, all the time in the world. And my real experience, really what happened, is that I started to feel that, my goodness, I can do 10 times more things in the day than I used to without feeling stressed. And I thought, how is this possible? How can did I just stretch time? And I realized that it was really working like that. That the more I think I don't have time, the more my experience is that I don't have time. And the more I say to myself, I have time, I have all the time in the world, with a smile and creating that truth and that feeling, the more it really became a reality. And it lasted for a fairly amount of months. Now this mantra doesn't work anymore, so I have to find a new one. Because that's the point in spirituality, is that you have to always renew and refresh whatever you think, because your thoughts have to be alive. They shouldn't be dead thoughts, otherwise they don't work. So we renew it all the time. My mantra these days is, I use quality time. That's my new mantra, is I like quality time. So I try to feel that whatever I do, if it's a meeting, if it's emails, if it's cleaning, if it's dishes, cooking, whatever, quality time. So I always say I don't use time, I only use quality time. I don't want time, or I don't spend time. I use time with quality. I try to create that kind of mantra. And I really enjoy it, what happens. It changes the connection with time. So it's just a little example, but it's to illustrate that our relationship with time is living. It's something very, very, very important. And if we're not enjoying that relationship with time, unless I'm wrong, we either become really stressed or really bored. Some people have too much time and they don't know what to do with time. So what they say? They kill time, which is not a good expression. He's killing time. Just wasting time, really, but killing time. But the relationship we want to have with time is one in which we feel that time is precious and we're taking full benefit from every moment. And in the aspect of mastering time, of course, we have to look at what do we do with the past, because this is also in the timeline, whatever I lived in the past. And that was last week. So last week we talked for an hour about really rethinking how we connect with the past, because the past can be a burden. It can be something that sometimes pulls the mind and the money and the heart and everything towards something negative. Many people carry bad experiences from the past. Some people actually can't live their present day properly because of what they went through in the past. Abuse, violence, broken relationships, death of people that were very, very near. Some people can't handle the situations, and so they carry that moment in such a way that the present is kind of damaged, and the future, of course, that will be next week. So I won't go back into this whole idea of what happens in the past, but today I wanted to share a bit of a few thoughts regarding what we do with the present and how do we live the present. I'm sure you heard many, many times. Now it's a fashion and it's a new age thought. Live the present moment, right? Live in the present, live in the now. They call it sometimes, so there's this movement called mindfulness. And mindfulness is all about just experiencing the now. You know, not focusing about the past or future. Just be in the present. Just be in the moment. Which, of course, is very appealing, and it's a nice experience just to be in the moment. My experience with that was one day being on my balcony at home upstairs, and remember it was very late. It was well, for me it was late. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I knew I had to go to bed, and I thought, but it was summer, nice evening, and I didn't want to go to bed, and I was enjoying the balcony, and I was not trying to meditate at all. I was just sitting there trying to just, extend a little bit my moment before going to bed. And suddenly it just happened. I just totally went into a state of bliss. It was just like no premeditation, no effort, nothing. I remember there was no music, nothing. It was just ugly background on the back lane with clothes hanging on the, what do they call it, the rope or the line of other people, and just noise of the city. And I went into a state of bliss. I was just like out of nowhere. I just totally disappeared. I was like suspended in a moment of complete bliss. It was just pure happiness. I don't know where it came from. It was just like that. And it lasted, I can't say how long it lasted, maybe, I don't know, a few minutes. I don't know if it was 10 or 15. There was no time there. I was just like suspended. And it's so nice, so really, it's hard to describe. It was just bliss, I think that's how we call it. I didn't drink anything, or there was nothing, just before it was legal. So anyway, I didn't take anything. And then just after those moments, I thought, whoa, what was that? Where does it come from? And the thought that came was, well, that was living the moment. I said, you wanted to know what it was? This is it. You were in complete sync with time at that time. And the thinking that came to my mind was, what made it possible was you didn't have the thought that you wanted that moment to be longer, to happen again, or to feel that maybe it will stop. And if you think about it, if we want to kill the moment, usually we use one of those three thoughts. Oh, I wish it would happen again. You just killed the beauty of the moment. And that's what we say sometimes. You meet someone and say, oh, you're going to leave? No, I just arrived. I mean, yes, I'll leave, but let me be here. I haven't gone yet. And then we kill the moment by thinking that the moment will end, and we feel sorry about that. Or we feel that it should repeat. Or we feel that it's not long enough. I want it to be longer. So when someone comes, you say, oh, I wish you can stay longer. And as soon as you say that, it's never with a big smile and it's, oh, regret. We just kill the moment. So we have those three thoughts that usually kill the moment. I wish it would be longer. I wish it could repeat. Or I wish it wouldn't end. And I just thought, am I still using those thoughts for certain things? And now, if I catch myself having those thoughts, I change them. I say, no, don't think like that, because it's no point. The moment is the moment. That's it. Enjoy it. No need to extend it. No need to repeat it. No need to be scared about the fact it will end. No need to even think about it. And so this is for me about living the moment or enjoying the moment. But where I think we need to go in a deeper spiritual awareness is not about just living the moment to, I would say, almost indulge in the moment. Because the point for me is not to indulge in time, but it's to be master of time. And master of time means that my relationship with past, present, and future is one in which I find harmony, I find strength, I find confidence, I find partnership, that time is with me and I'm with time. To be very honest with this movement, we want to make sure that whatever is from the past can be cleaned nicely, so we don't hold in ourselves anything negative from the past. So there's a big amount of work that we do in meditation to clean the past. And I've done it with many others. We write things down. We sometimes may need to, as a present, sometimes we need to connect with people from the past to address certain issues and to clear certain issues. We need to go back into things that bothered us from the past and, say, okay, I have to clean this. Like, I shouldn't let it be like that. So we do a lot of work about the past. But the point I made last week was there are many good things in the past that we want to hold us on. We want to make sure we preserve them, we nurture them, and we cherish them. There are beautiful memories from the past that we want to collect. Our elders, those who have been in this movement for 80 years now, what we like to do with them is that we sit with them and we ask them, can you tell us stories of your past? And they tell us beautiful stories of what they went through in their lives, and we're very inspired by it. So past has many secrets, has many good things. There are many lessons in the past. And what we do is that we bring them in the present also. So to me, the notion of living the present without allowing the past to be here, yeah, sometimes, but not always. I like to sometimes allow certain things from the past to be now and redecorate my present. When I'm in situations in the present, I like to review the lessons from the past to make sure I don't repeat the same mistakes I did in the past. So there's a connection between the past and the present, isn't it? You can't just erase it. It has to be to serve us, but in a good way, in a positive way. And so the relationship I entertain myself with the present is that the present is a beautiful transition time from the past to the future. And it's like almost if as the present is a how do you call it in English? A spinning door? No, a rotating door. No, is it? Huh? Revolving door. Okay, thank you. Sometimes you think in the language and just when it comes up, I don't know that word in English. A revolving door. And I like this image of the present to be this revolving door. It's hard to pronounce, huh? That's another word. No, revolving door. Because it's like the past, come in and, some will go back to the past, but some will go through. And my future is there. And I have to go through the present to go to the future. But it spins around a little bit. And I feel that my present is about spinning, ideas from the past, planning the future, being aligned with the future. So, for example, in Raj Yoga, we would be told many times, make sure you have a clear aim and objective. Well, aim and objective is actually looking at the future. So we kind of entertain the thought that it's good sometimes to look ahead. We also say sometimes that if you walk looking backwards, chances are you're going to fall. It's good advice when you walk. Look in front of you. Don't look sideways or backwards. Look a little bit ahead and you can avoid tripping on something. So this revolving door is really about how the present has to digest things from the past and produce things for the future. The future is actually going to be nothing but the consequence of my present, isn't it? It's not that the future will come with surprises from nowhere. We believe very much in the philosophy of karma, which is a philosophy where nothing happens without a cause. There cannot be anything that happens without a cause. So if it rains, there's a reason why it's raining. There has been some climate situations that makes it rain. It doesn't rain just like that. If your cat falls from the window, there's a reason. He was not paying attention or somebody pushed him. Something happened. It just doesn't fall like that. Nothing happened for nothing. So there's nothing in my future that will just show up out of nowhere. Everything that will happen in my life will come because I initiated that to happen. Do you believe in that or no? Some of it? No? So where things come in the future if it's not from the present? Do you believe in destiny or luck? Or God is maybe playing and doing things? It's an interesting question. And again, in Raja Yoga we don't pretend to hold the truth. And the point of coming together is not I know you don't know or you know I don't know. It's about provoking our thoughts. Because what happens is that if we don't change our thoughts, we stay the same. And if we want to grow and discover new things and feel different things and have a higher consciousness, it's good to provoke thoughts. And to be very honest with you, even for me, when I've been studying for so many years, I like sometimes when I realize that I'm wrong. Because I always feel that that's when I'm more alive. And it's a bit humiliating sometimes. But I've been caught many times, for example, being convinced that, let's say, okay, we read something 3 days ago. And I tell them, well, it was written that this said that. And somebody said, I don't think that's what it said. And to be honest with you, at that point, I'm so convinced. I can see it in my head, the sentence. I said, no, I'm telling you, this is what was written. I read it. And the person nicely says, well, I think it was not exactly that. And because I'm so stubborn and so determined, I go back, look on the paper, pull out the paper and realize, oh, she was right. I was wrong. How come I was so convinced that it was written that, and it's not? And, you know, before I used to be really, again, stubborn when somebody would tell me, well, you told me that. And I would say, no, I didn't tell you that. I told you that. I say, no, you told me that. And I used to be always so convinced that I was right. You know, and that's what I said, and she's wrong or he's wrong, thinking that I said that. And today, I have been quoted so many times, and so many times, and somebody had the proof that I was wrong, that I like the idea that I may be wrong. And even though I'm convinced that I said to the person that I'll be there at 4 o'clock, and the person said, you told me you'll be there at 4:30. No, I told you 4. In my head, it's in 4. But maybe at that time I said 4:30, and for strange reason, I'm convinced it's why I'm wrong. So it's very humiliating. But I find that if I find out that I'm wrong, I like it. Because it breaks my ego a little bit. It breaks my certitude that I'm right. So I'm not saying that karma philosophy is the ultimate truth. But I like the idea of playing with it, because it will make me act differently. If I feel that I'm, let's say, responsible for my future, then it coincides with what I've been told in religion. As you sow, so shall you reap. It's the same dynamic, that you are responsible of what you are creating. So for me, why that makes a difference? Because it teaches me what should I do now. And sometimes when I want to be lazy and careless and a little bit bad boy, well, if I think, okay, you want to be like that, but what's going to be the consequence? If I think about the price I'm going to pay for that, I might reconsider doing that, isn't it? Now I've learned that, I don't know, if I don't know, that one day I took a big pot of plants. It was so heavy, and then I had another word very hard to pronounce, herniated disc, something like that. Very painful, really painful. 6 months, can't play tennis, back problems. Now this fall, I had to again take all the plants out of the balcony. I saw the same pot. I said, no, not going to do that again. I want to do it alone. I don't want to ask anyone for help. I want to do it now. And I decided now I'm going to remove plants and move them in. Last time I was stubborn, I broke my back. I'm not going to do it again. Because at that time the pain was so bad, I'm not going to do it again. I understood. Action, reaction. But if I don't that, this is a gross example. It's an obvious example. People who may have a different, more subtle patterns, lying, being dishonest, or not doing certain things, or neglecting certain things. And the consequences are not so bad. They can handle it afterwards. We'll fix it afterwards. We'll ask for forgiveness afterwards, and it will be okay. Then we keep doing it. Right? They say until the pain of not changing is greater than the pain of changing, you don't change. But the day you realize that changing will be actually less painful than not changing, then you start changing. Does that make sense? Anyway, you can listen to it again after. But it works like that. For me, when I feel that, as long as I can go by certain things, you keep doing it. It's okay. It doesn't, it hurts a little bit, but not so much. I remember when I used to drink before, next day you'll have a headache. Oh, it's okay. You can handle it. You take a Tylenol. Okay, some people will do that their whole life. Until one day, I remember when I was much younger and I realized I want to have a good life. I want to have a pure life. I don't know what it meant, but I felt I want to have a pure life. So I decided I'll stop smoking, I'll stop drinking, and I knew it was going to be so wonderful afterwards. But it took a lot of effort. Action, reaction. So the present is a time where I plant the seed of the future. I can destroy a relationship with just a few words. But I can recreate or improve or heal a relationship. And it might take a lot of efforts. When you have a plant that doesn't grow well and it's all funny and there's bugs and it doesn't bloom very well and it doesn't grow very well, it takes a lot of effort. You have to find the right ingredients, you have to move it, you have to protect it, you have to care for it. But the day that plant is healthy again, you feel so happy, you say, good. So where do you do that? It's in the present. We can't fix the past. We can't change what was in the past. But the present, I can do whatever I want. And it just needs the awareness. How do the parents teach usually the kids? I've been told that so many times as a kid. If you don't do this, this will not happen. If you do that, this will happen. Isn't it? And you try to make some children understand. They don't understand. They don't want this, you know, they want the chewing gum. Yeah, but if you take chewing gum, when you will be 70 years old, your teeth will be aching. You know, I want my chewing gum, you know. I can't understand 70 years old. This is like, you know, unable to understand. A child, I remember, you cannot understand. When you're older, you will understand. No, I can't. Little boys, they can't figure that out. But parents say that. Yeah, you'll see when you're older. Mommy was right. Yeah, I want my chewing gum now. This is what I want now. And until the little boy makes the experience himself, he won't change. And if one day after eating his 20th chewing gum of the morning, suddenly he has something in his tooth, and I don't know, Mommy, something happened. So yeah, that's chewing gum. Really? Okay, no more chewing gum. Easy. I mean, I'm exaggerating, and I don't have kids, so I don't have a clue of what I'm talking about. But present is not just living the present. Present is about, you know, sowing seeds of the future and clearing residues of the past. So it is a revolving door going like this, and I have to play with it. And I have to accept that today in my present, I'm handling a lot of things, and it's spinning, and I have to pay attention to what is spinning in my present. If I try to stop the past and not care about the future, it might work for a while, but I think it becomes an illusion. And it's not necessarily what I would think to be very, very healthy on the long run. Because it's like being, you know, denying something and not being responsible for another thing. So I think our life that we live now, which is so precious, is always going through time. And whatever is now the present, tomorrow is the past. And whatever is the future tomorrow, tomorrow will be the present. So it is revolving pretty quickly. And my personal, I would say, effort or spiritual practice is just to say, what can I do to make that revolving door the most pleasant moment of my life? For example, I was told many times that a great wise person was making a lot of effort in her life by having the thought, this could be the last day of my life. So I have to do everything I want now and then don't postpone things for tomorrow. Right? That's what we say in English. In French we have that expression, don't put to tomorrow what you can do today. Isn't it? That means you do a lot today, man. You have to do a lot today. I don't agree with that expression. I think you should definitely plan to do tomorrow what should be done tomorrow. I may be wrong, I don't know. But don't stress about too many things. But the point is that I was hearing that thought that this lady was so elevated spiritually because she used that mantra, today might be my last day. So, no fooling around, just do it. And then I was very inspired by that thought for so many years. And then recently, I don't know what entered my head, but I decided, you know, I don't like that thought anymore. I think this is not a good thought for me. It's stressing me out. You know, and why should I go to work today thinking this might be my last day? This is a terrible thought. It's like a threat. You know, when I was a kid as a Catholic, my grandmother was very, very, very Catholic. And she used to tell me, Eric, if you don't tell your prayer, you may not wake up tomorrow morning. That's called terrorism. You know, this is grandma terrorism. So I used to go to bed, do my little rosary, and then fall asleep sometime during the rosary, waking up during the night thinking, did I finish it? No? Or maybe I should do it again, just in case. I was so scared of not waking up. I thought, this is like grandma terrorism. Not a good idea, you terror. I did my prayer, though, every night, because I always got scared of not waking up in the morning. But, I mean, she got her point through very well. So this idea of, you know, this may be your last day, I know it could be seen as positive, but I started to see it as negative. So I thought, what could be a better thought? Do you have an idea? That could be a better thought to go with every morning. more than I may die today, so which is not really positive. So the thought I used was, today it's going to be the best day of my life. And I decided to try that, as big a lie it is, as the one I used when I said, today I have all the time in the world. And so if you go, the other morning, I woke up early all the time, but I was really off on that morning. Everything was just banging here, banging there, broke a glass, water splash everywhere. And there's certain mornings okay, this is going to be one of those. Put your helmet on, because this is going to be painful the whole day, and they might be going wrong, which is already a thought we shouldn't have. And then I was just a few days after I created that thought, today is going to be the best day of my life. And I said, yeah, you bet. It doesn't start like that. So I decided to test that thought. And so honestly, it was one of those, you wash something, boom, the thing goes, okay, water everywhere. Oh God, oh, it's burning here. And I thought, no, this is a setup for a bad day. And so I thought, no, today is going to be the best day of my life. And it kept going wrong and wrong and wrong. My car was not working well. There was traffic here. This is such a mess. Came late. Anyway, it was just like to really laugh about. Like, today is going to be the best day of my life. And I was just so aware that this was just not working. It didn't match at all. But I kept using that thought. Today is going to be the best day of my life. And the whole day went so wrong the whole time, But when I reached home, I realized that I was smiling and laughing like crazy, as if, nothing affected me actually. And I realized, okay, this was probably the worst day of my life, but I don't feel it. I just didn't feel anything went wrong, because I kept repeating, no, today is the best day of my life. And I just had the thought at the end of the day, but mostly the next day, that if I look back at that day, it was probably one of the best of my life, because I succeeded in not going crazy after everything that happened. Because if I didn't have that attitude, it would have really been one of the worst days of my life. Everything went really, really bad. And it was so, in French you say it was like orchestrated by the director of the film, literal translation. Huh? Yeah, Mr. Bean Show, exactly. It was too big to be, come on, and what more? I do something worse should happen now, and then something worse happened. I thought, okay, this is like but I like that provocation, because using that thought, this is the best day of my life, saved me throughout the day. And so the present is really managing all kind of things which we don't have a control over all the time. I don't know what's going to... I know some people don't like the idea that maybe whatever went wrong, there's a cause somewhere. There's a disalignment. If you are not aligned in your car, you don't want to create something bad. But just a little misalignment of your wheel can create a very bad situation. The cause was very minor, but the consequences could be very big. So I pay attention to that, and I realize living really in kind of a harmony or in tune with the present is about accepting this revolving door, and accepting that some days things go wild, and some days things go well, and some days it's raining, sometimes it's sunny, and that's okay. That whatever happens today on my revolving door, okay, I didn't expect that, but that's okay, that's fine, no problem. This is the best day of my life, and what's next? And I'm okay about it. I'm going to accept all these things from the past, and I'm going to face whatever I have to create for the future. And I find that my experience of the present is, if I understand that it's like this, is it how you call it, an inch? Oh no, what is in the door, to make the door? Huh? Hinge, yeah. This is the present. It is a connection between the past and the future. And if that connection is strong, then I find that I can handle both at the same time. Most people want to either get lost into the past and indulge into the past and get really affected by it, and that totally discourages them for the future. Or some people are so worried about the future, they don't dare even looking at the past because they're so scared that, this is already so much to handle. And these are not, I think, very healthy mental attitudes. Who doesn't have worries? What is worry? Worry is only one thing. What is it? Thoughts that are having a problem with the future. We're always worrying. So we say we worry about the past. You don't worry really about the past. Past is past. But you worry that past continues. We're always worrying about anxiety, worries. It's always because we don't understand if I'm going to be able to handle the future. The future being next minute, next 10 minutes, next 3 days, next 3 months. So if you don't have worries, if you don't have any problem with the future, I don't know where you get your worries from, but you will be out of worries. You'll be running out of worries. You might be worrying that you will not be worrying anymore, so that's a big concern. You're running out of worries. Wouldn't you like that? If somebody were to say, how are you doing? I'm fine, but I think I'm running out of worries. I have nothing to worry about. And people would say, so you okay? Yeah, I guess so. Some people like to worry. They find that worrying means like at least you have something to talk about. No, you can talk about something else. Don't need to worry all the time. But worries are a big disease. If you go to the doctors, I think doctors should now prescribe, first you stop worrying for 3 months and then you come and see me again. Then we'll see what happens. You'll be surprised. I think that many pharmaceutical companies will go bankrupt because they are, feeding on our worries, and they feel that because of our worries, we create so many mental illnesses. I say that a mind that doesn't worry is a free mind. Wouldn't it be a nice thing not to worry? Not to worry about the self, not to worry about the future, not to worry about anyone, not to worry about children, not to worry about anything. Worry is lack of faith in the future, lack of understanding of the future. If I have the faith that whatever happens, I know I'll have a solution for it, then Om Shanti, no more worries, isn't it? But we don't think that way. What if that happened? What will I do? And if that is happening, what will I say? And if I don't have the money, or if the check doesn't come, what will I do? Oh, if my child doesn't go home tonight, what will I do? Just wait, he will come home. And if he doesn't, then you'll do what you need to do. But why do we worry? And worrying is such a kind of toxic ingredient that I really defy anyone to tell me they're enjoying the present moment at the time of worrying. And many people try so many things to stop worry. Alcohol, drugs, movies, music, so many things, just so they can stop worrying. There's no need to do that. Faith, understanding, experiences of who we are makes us able not to worry. If we know that, every problem is a hidden solution. That's what they say, right? It's not from me. It's a known slogan. Every problem is a solution in disguise. Well, that's a game. We like games, isn't it? Don't you like games? And we play, and then you have to find a word, and then they give you a little indication. They give you a hint and say, yeah, you have to find a word. My first is this, my second, my third. What is it? Searching, I know. And you want to know, right? Why don't we do that with problems? If a problem comes, say, oh, good, no problem, let me check. Okay, what can it be? Then you search for a solution. But instead of that, we worry. And we feel, oh, I have a problem. So, how much do we use the present to enjoy. How much do I enjoy the present? And I think that if we spoil the present, then time really we're wasting it, because we can't recuperate that time. Recently I had just a feeling that I was just contemplating on something, and I thought, what will I do with 1 year? And I felt as if suddenly somebody deposited in my bank account $1 million. So, oh wow, what do I do with it? And I realized that if I think of, let's say, my next year until I celebrate my next birthday, what will I do with that amount of time? With that life I have to live? What will I do? It's a big, 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 precious gift. The day we will be told, well, sorry, you don't have 1 year to live. That will not be very pleasant. It will be too late to do something. So I was just thinking, not in the sense of, okay, live your life because this might be your last year. No, not like that. But with the feeling there will be more. But just this next one, how much time am I being given, which is so precious? And so what am I doing with it? And honestly, this is my personal effort all the time, is to find the right thought, so that every day is like something happens. Something is worth living. Something makes you feel, wow, this is, I'm enjoying. On a regular basis, if ever I find myself caught with too many thoughts, I go and walk we have a beautiful park nearby. I love to go for a walk, and then I say, I'm free. I have nothing to do. And sometimes I have lists, with so many things to do, and I allow myself to go in a park and say, I have nothing to do. I don't care. Nothing is important. And I give myself permission that nothing is important. And you have to answer this call, and you have to fill that form and send it by such a date. I give myself the permission to delete all this for a moment. No, nothing is important. Nothing. I don't care about nothing. Just walking, and I'm free. And I taste that feeling until I'm strong enough, and then I say, okay, now I'm okay. Okay, what should I do now? And then you go back into certain things, but attitude is light and much easier. Does it make sense, or am I really bombarding you with a spinning revolving door that goes way too fast, and you're starting to spin and wish we can just go through a little simple door? Any thoughts? Anyone wants to share some thought? Or what is going on in your mind? Not much? Yeah? Does it stimulate you in rethinking a little bit how you negotiate your present, or how you see your present? Do you consider every moment in the present to be a present? No? It's not a gift? Present in the sense of a gift. No? In the sense, to be alive is a gift, isn't it? They say it's so they say the real meaning of present is we see every moment as a present, as a gift, because we are alive. It's working. I can speak. We can see each other. It's such a. Sometimes for me, this is the only thing I'm telling myself in the morning. Eric, you're alive on planet Earth. Such a beautiful thing. My job, so irrelevant. Because when we leave planet Earth, no, it doesn't matter. When you meet the extraterrestrial people on Venus or Mars, they don't care if you were a journalist or, it doesn't mean anything to them. I'm not planning to go to Mars, but in case. Nothing is that important. To be alive, to be on this planet, to meet people, to share, to love, to enjoy life, this is such an amazing thing. And sometimes I feel that even for myself, I can be 2-3 days sometimes without stopping and telling me, hey, you're alive. This is great. This is just wonderful. Just that is a wonder. Then after that, work, this, groceries, cars to be fixed. All right. So, should we stop here, or I can talk the whole night? So I don't want to get you bored or unable to hear. Yeah, I'll keep some for next week. Thank you. This is what I thought. More to come next week. So just before I let you go, I'd like to share with you maybe a few thoughts of meditation, and just to take you through an experience. I repeat the same thing, but in 5 minutes. So when we meditate, we like to sit comfortably, give the body a little signal that you want to be alert. We don't want to lose consciousness or fall asleep. We just want to be alert and aware. And it's good initially to feel the energy of the body. How every part of the body is relaxed. The legs, the shoulders. You can breathe comfortably. And when we breathe, we feel that all this energy is going through. We're inhaling the air, sending it out. Like life is going through the body. And I know at the same time that I am more than the physical body. And I pay attention to my thoughts, to my mind. Knowing that I'm a living energy in the body. I have awareness. I can feel. I can express who I am. And just being here, aware of the present moment. I know that I carry with me so many beautiful memories, so many moments from the past, events that shaped who I am today. As if life has been a long journey, and I'm still on the journey. And even if the past is in the past, I carry with me the beauty of who I am. And I feel strong. I feel like I'm walking on the path of life. And I want to embrace the future. And I move from the past to the future with grace. I see the past and I smile. I see the future and I smile. Because I'm very comfortable with who I am. And yes, nothing is perfect. Many things from the past sometimes the present is not perfect either. But I bring my consciousness to a level of awareness that I am a living being, and life is really wonderful. I can love, I can feel happiness, I can move forward with hope. And I can become the master of my life. I can generate peace, love, and happiness in my life through my thoughts. And I see my thoughts as my friends. They can take me higher, further, and help me move forward on the path of life. Okay, I hope you had a little inner journey as well, and just hope that these moments help you just to focus, reflect, and play with the thoughts, play with the mind and play with the possibilities of what we can be and experience every day. So I wish you to have the most beautiful evening of your life, and the most beautiful life of your life from now on. So thank you for joining, and I see you next Friday will be the third one then. So have a good night.